Hey, all, Brian Bantoff here with RE/MAX Advantage Plus and Ramsey Trusted. Hope you're having a great week so far. Thanks again for checking out this weekly market update. This week, we are going to talk a lot about numbers. We are going to talk about the week that was, and then we are also going to talk about the month of February for this year that just ended a couple weeks ago, and compare it against where we were last February to give you a little bit of an idea of really what's going on in the real estate market, as I try to do every week. So let's get going. Let's have some fun here today. But as always, let's start on how we always start, with the previously owned homes within that 50-mile radius of downtown Minneapolis. In Minnesota, there were 921 new listings in the past 7 days. That is up 42 from last week and 54 more than the same week last year. 280 of those sold in the first week, which means about 30% of all new listings did sell. That's down from last year's 43% of new listings that sold during the same corresponding week last year. Of the 921 new listings, 611 were single-family homes with a median listing price of $440,000. 192 of the 921 total were townhomes at a median of $302,500, and 118 were condos at a median of $200,000. There are 365 coming soon listings on the market. That is up 8 from last week. For our total inventory, we have 3,380 homes on the market. That's 89 more than last week and 370 more than this same time last year. Of our total available inventory, 1,808 are single-family homes. That's up 62 at a median listing price of $525,000. That's up $15,000 from last week. Really, just since the start of January, the median listing price of single-family homes has risen by $75,000. So that's evidence to me that more and more of the move-up homes, where we have just more expensive homes that generally do start to hit the market in the spring market, are really starting to become available. Now, they're not moving as fast as the lower-priced homes, but those move-up homes are certainly sitting out there, pulling up our median single-family home prices. And really, that's the reason for the big short-term upward adjustment in our median home prices by $75,000. So of our total, 739 are townhomes at a median price of $312,500. That's up $6,500, and 833 are condos. That's up 14. They're at median listing price of $208,000. That's up $3,000. 728 homes went from active to pending. That's up 67. And 451 went from pending to sold. Moving on to mortgage rates. Mortgage rates are essentially unchanged from the prior week, with 30-year conventional rates still kind of hovering around that 6.75 mark. Rates are about an eighth lower than where we were last month, but really close to where we were 3 months ago and 1 year ago. We're about 0.75% higher than 6 months ago. 6 months ago, we were at our 12-month lows from a mortgage rate perspective. On the showing side of things, realtors scheduled 16,325 showings, which is 20% higher than where we were the prior week, but just slightly lower than where we were this same time last year. So showing activity this year to last year, really not that far off from each other, but we did have fewer showings by just a little bit this year compared to last year. So that's the week that was. Now let's move into some February stats, where we're going to compare this February to last February to give you an idea of kind of how things have been panning out in the past 12 months. I do this pretty much every month towards the middle of the month. But as we move into these February numbers, I'm going to stick with the previously owned homes. I'm not going to talk about new construction here today. I'm going to stick with previously owned homes within that search radius of 50 miles from downtown Minneapolis in Minnesota, with the following numbers here. So we saw total closed sales of 2,023 closed sales in the month of February this year. Last February 2024, saw more closed sales than this year, with a total of 2,142. We did have warmer weather last year. We did have one more day in February last year. So that could be some of the impact for why we had more sales last year than this year. But I don't think that tells the full story. For February 2024, 1,547 of the sales were of single-family homes with a median close price of $365,000 and a median price per square foot of $190.48. This past February, there were 1,449 single-family closed sales at a median sale price of $400,000 and a median price per square foot of $197.52. So just for the month of February this year compared to last, median sale prices were actually up 9.6%, while median price per square foot rose 3.7%. 413 townhomes closed in February this year compared to 422 last year, so not far off from each other. Median close price last year for the month on townhomes was $279,500 at a median price per square foot of $182.70. And this year it was $290,000. So we had an increase in our median sale price for townhouses, but the median price per square foot actually dropped by about $1 to $181.69. That's a 3.8% increase in median price, but a slight drop in median price per square foot. We'll talk more about why that might be the case a little bit later. Condo prices continued an unfortunate downward trend where the median sale price for February this year from February last year dropped by $6,400 from $199.9. $193.5 is kind of where our median prices were for condos for the month of February. The median price per square foot dropped even further, though. That dropped almost 5%. Median price per square foot dropped nearly 5% on condos over the past 12 months from this February to last February. Now, if we look at the local market stats that encompasses all local areas, not just the 50-mile radius of previously owned single-family homes, townhomes, and condos, we're going to find that the inventory of single-family homes in February was down almost 11% from last February, while the inventory of townhouses was actually up 23% and condos were up 21%. The month's supply of inventory for single-family homes, this is previously owned homes, dropped from 1.3 to 1.1, while townhomes rose from 1.4 to 1.7, and condos went from 3.0 to 3.9. So really, here are some of my thoughts on kind of what all this means. The typical first-time home buyer lives in their first home that they've purchased anywhere from 2 to 5 years. The typical move-up or move-down buyer, someone who has owned a home before and moving to a different home, lives in their move-up or move-down home for 10 to 15 years. I believe we're seeing an influx of townhome and condo owners, which were a very popular style of home for first-time home buyers who purchased 2 to 5 years ago during COVID. They're now needing more space due to household changes, whether that's marriage, kids, etc. These first-time buyers who now want to move up either just need a bigger home or they don't care about the interest rates. Since we've kind of been living in a pretty narrow mortgage rate environment for almost 3 years now, those homeowners that bought 2 to 5 years ago, they're kind of comfortable with the mortgage rates because that's where they've been. That's what they know. That's what they've been experiencing. So now those first-time home buyers who are now sellers who want to move up are running into tight inventory for single-family homes because so many single-family home owners bought when mortgage rates were substantially lower and don't want to give up that mortgage rate. And we could kind of see those single-family homeowners who are living in their move-up home, they could stay in those homes for greater than 10 to 15 years, causing still really just a lack of inventory for people who want to buy a single-family home. It's causing available single-family home inventory to be tight and prices on those single-family homes to go up at a faster clip than townhouses that would have been relatively stable for pricing. And now we're starting to see those condos go down in value, which is unfortunate for those who do own condos. But that's kind of what I'm seeing is why you're seeing townhome pricing stay relatively flat, condo prices going down, but you're seeing the single family homes continue to climb in value because there just aren't that many of them that are coming to market because of the fact that so many people are locked into those low interest rates. There's no reason for them to move, and they're going to stay in those homes for a little bit longer than they typically do on that 10 to 15 year range. So those are kind of some of my thoughts for the week. Something else that I kind of like to pass on here this week. I was talking to some new clients here this week about their situation. They're looking to buy a home this spring, and they're currently living with grandma to give them the flexibility of when they find the right home for them. So they happened to mention to me that grandma bought the house a long time ago, decades ago, for $27,000. Guess what? And that house is worth $900,000. So, she's lived there for a long time, but over time, that house went from $27,000 to $900,000. That's crazy. Today, $27,000 decades ago, that may have really felt like a stretch for what that house was priced at the time. But now, again, 50, whatever, how many years later, that house is worth significantly more than where they bought it at. So I really don't know if the housing market will go up or down in the short run, but I do feel pretty confident that the housing market will be substantially higher in the future than it is today. So in 30 to 40 to 50 years, I certainly expect home values to be much higher than where we are today. Real estate is long-term. Don't think of real estate as a short-term thing. You always need a place to live. That is not in doubt. Owning a home is one of the greatest ways people build personal wealth, especially as you look at your long-term future. A lifetime of renting could result in stunted personal wealth at retirement, so something to keep in mind. This story about grandma makes me think of the old Zig Ziglar saying, you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. There are so many things in life that this can apply to, and that certainly can apply to real estate. It may feel painful now. It may feel like it's not a great time to start now, but it will feel great over a lifetime. There are steps you need to take to properly prepare in the short term for your long-term gain, but those steps are doable with the right person and plan supporting you. So whether you are a first-time home buyer or looking to sell your current house, I'd love to be the person who helps you take those steps or help you put those steps together for your long-term gain. Please reach out anytime. I'm here to support you and your goals. I really appreciate your time and really look forward to hearing from you. One kind of bonus fact for the week, there are 5 homes in the Twin Cities area that are currently priced at $10 million or more. The largest one has almost 20,000 finished square feet. So I hope you have a great weekend. Reach out anytime. I'd love to be the person who is by your side, helping you accomplish those long-term goals and building your personal wealth. So talk to you soon.